Hi, this is Lisa Davis of wallflowersandcards.com, and I am going to show you how to make a mandala or mandala from a digital image. You can use a photograph. I'm using um, one of my original floral bouquet designs, an autumn wedding bouquet. And I'm working on a Mac in Photoshop Elements 13. The first thing you have to do is decide which corner you want to be the outside of your design. And I've decided I want the upper right hand corner to be the outside, which means the lower left hand corner will be the center of the mandala. And I really don't want a black center, so I'm going to crop this design. So you click the crop tool and crop it. You need to end up with a rectangular area. Doesn't really matter how rectangular. And if you want the center of your design to be interesting, it's important to pick an area that has different textures and colors in it for the center of your design. So I'm going to start with this portion of this bouquet. The first step in actually making the mandala is to unlock the layer. And to do that, you go over to the right hand side, click the little padlock, and drag it up to the garbage can. So now your layer's unlocked, and if you go to the move tool, you can move it freely. You don't want to move it yet, but there it is. The next step is to resize the image. I'm going to make it smaller. And to resize, not the image, but the canvas. So you go up to Image, click that, you go down to Resize, and you want to resize the canvas. And the general rule of thumb is to, you're going to make a square, and if you multiply the longest side by 2.5 to 3 inches, so let's do a random number of 11, and you want both sides to be 11, it's better to make it too big than too small because you can always crop it when you're done. And then push OK, and there you have your larger canvas to work with. So I'm going to move this to the upper right hand corner since this is the outside of my design. You want to duplicate this image and then flip it to make a mirror image. To do that, you go over to the upper right, and there's right click and duplicate your layer. Do you really want to do that? Yes, I do. So there you can see you have two images exactly alike. And what you want to do is rotate this or flip it horizontally to make a mirror image. Just go to the edge, click it, right click, flip horizontal. Move it so it's perfectly lined up, and there we have the mirror image. You want to merge this image, and to do that you again go over to the upper right, right click, and you want to merge the visible part of the design. So you center that in the upper half. You want to duplicate this layer. So you go over to the right, right click, duplicate layer. Yes, I want to do that. Move it down, and this, to make it mirror image, you have to flip vertically. So if you go over to the right and click it, and then right click, you can flip it vertically. Make sure it's lined up perfectly, which it is, and then you merge these two layers. Right click and merge visible. Now you have your free moving bottom layer of your mandala. You're going to duplicate this layer 3 more times and rotate it. So go over to the right, duplicate this layer. Now to rotate, if you just go to the upper right hand corner or any of the corners, you can start click and drag, and it starts rotating, and you can see the little degrees. You want to rotate at 30 or 45 degrees. If you go down to the bottom, it's much easier just to type in 45, click OK. That's what I want. Then you duplicate that layer and you rotate that layer 45 degrees. Yes. And then you duplicate that layer and rotate that layer 45 degrees. So now you have your 4 layers. You can see them all at a different angle up here. Now comes the fun part. This is the part where you actually see the mandala starting to take form. You want to blend all these layers together. And to do that, you go over to the right-hand side and see this is your blending options. And I have found that lighten works best for my designs. The other ones all do different things. Some make them really psychedelic looking, but I like mine to be natural looking flowers. So you click the top layer and you lighten it. And there you see the beginning of your design taking form. You click the next layer and you lighten that. And there's more of it. And the third layer, and you lighten that. And there is your beautiful mandala. You want to merge all those layers together. And once it's merged, you can center the whole design on your page. I'll go over to the right, flatten the image. I want my background to be black to match the outer part of this. So if you go to the paint bucket, and I already have it set on black, and just click that, there is the finished mandala looking beautiful. You can crop it if you don't want, the outside showing so much. So I began with this design and I ended up with this design. And there is my autumn bouquet mandala.